TV. Now, many of you have already had your graduation celebrations, but some are waiting till this week to have theirs. And that's Shaneka and Kevin Patterson. They are walking across the stage there at UMMC with their Doctor of Nursing, and they're the first couple to do that together. So both of them are getting the degree in nursing, or your doctorate in nursing, together at the first time. So welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you
so much.
And then I forgot to add to this that who will be cheering you on is your 4 children.
Yes.
So are you surprised that people are so interested in your story? Do you realize how unique your story is?
In the beginning, no. But once the story came out and random people start to come up to you and say, congratulations, and you're like, do you work at UMC? And they're like, no.
Yeah.
So it is, it's pretty amazing to see.
Well, we've had several times here on Good Things, we'll have parents like mothers and daughters that will end up graduating at the same time. And it's so interesting how their stories align to, like, for mom to go back, because obviously the daughter is at that age to go through college. But it is rare to find 2 spouses who are equally busy with, 4 children at home to make the decision that both will sort of, pursue not just their entry-level degree, but, a doctoral degree together. And so that adds just, for those of us who have been married almost 18 years here, I'm like, wow, y'all should write a book on how to, be teamwork together. Yeah. But all this had to come with, like, I'm sure lots of prayer and preparation. So how did you two come to the idea that you were going to do this at the same time and sort of do this together?
Well, for me, this is a second career. She's always been a nurse, and I went back to school. So this will actually be my 5th degree. So I have 2 bachelors, 2 masters.
I think you've had enough.
This is, yeah. I would agree. Yeah. But, so when I went back, she was already a nurse practitioner. I was going back just to start from scratch to get a BSN and then a master's. And then after that master's, I told her, I was like, yeah, this will be the last time I do this. I'm never going back to school again. And then about a year or so later, I kind of got a little bit of an itch. I think, God was speaking to me somehow. And he was like, hey. And for 2 years, we spoke about it, and we were like, no. Like, we couldn't find the why to go back. Like, financially, it wasn't going to move the needle. So that was more of our secular thinking. Of thinking, if we're going to go back, we got to make more money, but that won't change a whole lot for us. But, just finding that why, and then, God spoke to us, and we just decided to
What
make
was
the
the why? Because right now, even with healthcare, I mean, when you think about having careers in there, people, even with kids going in, you're like, oh, just sort of stop and sort of think about it. But you two felt that pull
for sure.
so strongly for nursing to the highest level. So.
Yeah, for me, it was our children. So I thought, so your dad has a doctorate, your mom has a doctorate, you at least have to go, give it a go. Have to at least try to get your bachelor's. College is not for everybody.
We don't want to hear your excuses.
Right. College is not for everybody. Some people are going to be entrepreneurs and that thing, and no disrespect to anybody, but for us, we would like for our children at least to attempt to, get a bachelor's degree. Yeah, and in that, for us, if we have, reached the pinnacle of some type of, profession, surely you can go give it a try. So for us, it was the children to say, hey, this is going to be you've seen us, you watched us through, you grew with us through this journey. So surely you can do it, if we're kind of funding the situation for you.
I think it's important to say that actually Kevin was the one that really I wanted to go back to school, but not as much.
Because you were a working nurse practitioner already.
I was. And I also was pregnant.
With number 4?
Yes. And so he wanted to go back that spring. Luna, our youngest, was born March, and he was like, I'm going back to school with or without you. And I was like, can I make it through this newborn phase?
Can you give me a little while?
Give me a little bit. And so so he said, I'm going back with or without you. And I said, well, you're not going back without me. And so we just decided to do it. He did give me a little grace, so we started that August.
How kind, Kevin.
Look, we're motivated at that point. We had to go. We had to start before that motivational.
So we want our
war.
kids to understand that they can do this. Like, you can persevere. Things are hard, and you may not always find the time, but you can make the time for the things that you really want to do.
Well, I appreciate, too, like the example of a partnership, right, to make these decisions together, clearly, but then also letting your kids know that you don't have to have it all figured out before you start like building a family, and you can make these pivots or continue to grow at different stages of life, right? I mean, when you first got married, I would assume you wouldn't have thought 4 kids in you would be going back for your doctorate of nursing practice.
No.
That school was done at that point.
Exactly.
Well, and
Here we
that's
are.
inspiring to everyone, I think, listening, because you get in that sort of hamster wheel of just everyday life, wanting to put your kids first, and you should. There's a level of that, but then also recognizing if there's a stirring in you, like Kevin, you kind of mentioned, there's an itch or something, that with you start walking, and God can kind of figure out the details for you and how to make it happen.
Right.
Yeah, I think sometimes we have to realize that God really does have a plan for our lives. I kind of laughed because I thought in the beginning I was done after 3 kids, and then that 4th one popped up, and I was like, oh my goodness.
The blessing you never knew you needed.
Exactly.
I have one of those. Her name is EJ. But she was only number 2.
Exactly. So sometimes, we get so wrapped up in ourselves that we forget that God has a purpose for us. And for us, we truly love healthcare. We truly love taking care of people. And so going back to school really made us realize how much we just got so much out of the program. It didn't matter that we spent the money and we spent the time. We really got a lot out of the program.
How long was the program? Because when I hear doctoral, I think anything from 4 to another 8 years in terms of how long have you two been, Shaneka and Kevin, been in school together?
So we did a postmaster's doctoral program. So it was 5 semesters for us. If we would have went straight from BSN, it would have been 3 years. But because we started from the master's level, it was actually 2 years for us.
Okay.
And we did do a more of a clinical-based doctorate as well, compared to a PhD, which can take a little bit longer.
Okay, so that's a little bit of the difference there.
Right.
I gotcha.
So, with the DNP, which is the Doctorate of Nursing Practice, it's more of a clinical-based doctorate.
It's implementing the research.
Exactly.
So PhDs tend to may formulate the research, and DNPs will implement that research into practice.
Right.
And so that is a little bit different. I will say school is as long as you want it to be.
Right.
It is as long. They will create a plan for whatever you want.
Right.
If you want it to take 5 years, it will take 5 years if that's what you want. For us, we wanted to be in and out. We were like, we are going to give this amount of time. This is what we can afford to give. And so by any means necessary, we were going to accomplish this. Yep. And so we knew 5 semesters, that's all we're given.
Well, you had to get in. So were y'all nervous that one would get in and not the other? Did you get your acceptance letters together? I hope I'm not spoiling like such. The look on your face, Shaneka. I'm like, did you peek open? Did y'all get them at the same time? Was it an email?
It was our contract negotiations and our interviews. It's like, hey, I got another person that will be interviewed as well. We're a package deal.
Because
so they're gonna take both of us or nobody.
The funny thing is, Kevin got an email first. He got in, and then I get a preliminary email.
They play with your emotions.
I was like, oh my gosh, how did you get in? And I didn't, I got a prelim. And so it was some situation.
Especially since you were already a nurse practitioner.
And I already work at UMC. I was like, hello? But it was something with my grades. Like, they didn't get all of my grades or something like that. And so I had to call the office and sort of work that situation out. But that was what put me in the preliminary phase. And then I later got an email. But it was a heart attack. I think I had a mini one.
That baby would have changed everything, Kevin. She probably wouldn't have been so friendly with late late night study sessions or all that if it wouldn't have worked out for.
No.
Yeah, it would have changed a lot. In the beginning, I actually reached out to Dr. Upchurch because when he first brought this idea, we thought about Alcorn because they have a DNP program, and we've both attended that school, and so then we thought about Alcorn, and we were down to UMC. Well, I work at UMC. They have workforce development scholarships, lots of things that they actually do for their employees to push
you to higher education.
Exactly.
Which y'all did. We've got more conversation with the Pattersons coming. Mississippi app and your local SuperTalk Mississippi radio station. You can watch us too. We are on your computer, your mobile device. Just head on over to SuperTalk TV. We are continuing our conversation with Pattersons. The Pattersons, Shaneka and Kevin Patterson. The S is for the Pattersons. That's not your last name. But they are walking across the stage tomorrow at UMMC. They are getting their Doctor of Nursing practice, and they are the first there at the medical center first married couple to complete the program together. Did y'all know that going in, that y'all were the first?
We learned kind of in the middle of the program, actually. It was like we had done a year already, and I think one of the professors recognized, like, hey, I think you guys are going to be the first married couple to complete this program together. So I think it was kind of a surprise to them as well. So,
well, again, as we mentioned, I think one thing that's inspiring is y'all were on this journey together. You also have a family and trying to navigate that. I love Carrie and Richland shared that they are proof, that you guys are proof that you can do anything, but you don't have to do everything all at once. And I think that's such a good message. But you had to have a good village around you to make this sort of work. So, and stay very focused because it was 2.5 years of your life. So from that like work-life balance or school-life balance, what were some of y'all's top priorities like to keep you focused? I know you didn't hit the mark every day or perfect, but like kind of to make it work for your family, to see it through to graduation.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we kept, the main thing. Family was number one, right? So, like we mentioned in our story. God.
Yeah, faith is first.
Just in case he's listening, we want to make sure we get that in.
That's number one.
But yeah, for sure. I mean, we kept the family, our main focus. Like, our children, we never took away from anything from them and their activities to go and do homework. We always just stayed up later or did a bunch of work on the weekend, whatever it may be, to make sure that they can, continue their childhood and not get put on hold for 2.5 years while we pursued a goal of ours. Yeah. So like with, vacations and things you may have read on the story that UMC posted, we made sure to prioritize those things to make sure that they were able to get those experiences.
These are the things that they look forward to. We can't completely uproot or completely change their lives for something that we want to do. We have to make it work. We have to balance. We absolutely could not do it without our moms. That is hands down. We couldn't do it without them. As far as I organized a calendar on our smartphones. At the beginning of the school year, I put all the kids' things, everything related to school, any events they do. I put all of that on the calendar, the date, the time, all of it. And then as far as our stuff for the beginning of the school year, we got a calendar. All of our assignments went on there. Everything, whatever we needed to show up for. If it doesn't go on the calendar, it does not get done. I attached or shared our calendar with our moms. And so my mother-in-law, who gets up, I think, every day, and she looks at the calendar, and so she knows where we are or what we're doing on that particular day. And it's amazing because she will text me, and she will say, hey, do I need to show up for a cruise on this day at this time? Do I need to keep the kids for that wedding that you have? I see you got something going on. So she is amazing about that. My mom, I have to remind her, Mom, it's on your calendar. But she is equally as amazing because I'll call her at the last minute and say, hey, I need this. Would you mind helping me out? We have cousins, too. We have a couple of cousins, Tiff and Rome, that are super, super helpful. The kids will get sick, and I can call in the morning and say, hey, will you keep them? So it's the support system that we have around us that allows us to keep our kids kids' lives normal.
Yeah.
And that's important for us.
Yeah, and that's why you were able to make it through to graduation tomorrow. But the studying part, do we study different? Do we study together? Who's the, like, Shaneka's got to be the one that has, like, the note, like, if she's organized and notes, and then are you asking her for notes, Kevin?
For sure. Yeah. No, you got her 100% correct. She's the organizer. She's the one that's real type A when it comes to schoolwork, while her work was so much better than mine. I was the one just like, hey, what we got tomorrow?
Oh my God!
What we have to do tomorrow? So I would ask her. We piggybacked off of one another on with those
Did
situations.
Did you sit next to each other in class?
Oh, for sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know if I could do that.
Yeah. Gotta just in case my computer goes down or something. Like our first course that we were taking, that we had to go do some stuff on the computer. My computer wasn't working and hers was, and I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna close my laptop and just look at yours so we can figure this out later on.
Yeah.
But it was just like things like that, and I'll never forget one weekend. Piggybacking on the parent situation, we had a huge paper that was due. I think that's Sunday, and we were both kind of gotten behind a little bit, and the weekend was coming up, and we needed some time to work, and we called her mom. Said, Miss Trish, you got to come get these kids. We need a break.
I do that anyway without a paper due.
So, and we spent the weekend typing. She and I both. I finished a lot, earlier than she did because once again she just puts in so much more effort. But we were able to get those things done because of the support system that we did have. So. But yeah, she's the type A personality when it comes to schoolwork and getting those type of things done. And I was the one that just like, let's just get this done.
I just want things to be done correctly. So I am
I
will. You do, but I am like, oh, is this correct? I need to go look this up. I need to go, so I am a little bit more detailed oriented than he may be. He's like, oh, I'm done. I need to go cut the grass.
That is, yep. Those personalities are definitely there in just about every marriage.
Yeah.
But I still say y'all should write a marriage book on how you managed the last 2.5 years together. No, but I think it's beautiful. So you also get to walk together, and it's coming up this Friday, right? I think it said tomorrow. I thought it was Thursday all day, but it's Friday. What that day is going to be? What will that day be like for you guys?
We're going to get up early because we got a lot of children to get dressed, and we have to be there early to get in line. So
there's photos early that morning, I think around 9. So we're going to try to get up early that morning, get the kids together and get ourselves together.
Mm-hmm.
Try to be there at 9 so that we can kind of take a little bit of a family photo that they allow before the graduation, and then look for our family so that we can say, take the children. and so they'll go up with the kids. Our families will, and we'll go get in line. And exactly. We're hoping, if our professors are listening, we're hoping that Dr. Upchurch will hood Kevin first, and then allow him to hood me.
Because if it's alphabetical order, I mean, y'all should be right there next to each other.
Should be.
But if there's another Patterson or what is your last name?
Patterson.
Okay. If there's another Patterson, then that would ruin you'd have to move over.
Yeah, we've seen the list. I don't think there's anyone in between us.
Right.
Okay.
It would only be fair for me to be able to hood her because she was able to pin me when I got my BSN because she was already a nurse. So they kind of.
Are y'all gonna know what to do with no school after this?
Oh, for sure.
Oh,
for sure. And that's not open a book. That's for sure.
Is class? Have y'all had? I mean, has class wrapped up for you guys? Have y'all been on this kind of?
It ended closer toward the end of April, right? So we were able to let our hair down a little bit after that, but it seemed like life kind of took off a little bit after that. So it's like
the schools, the kids'
May-timber?
activities picked up.
Yes.
December or whatever they call it. It's
teachers'
real.
appreciation, and it's
So what's next for you guys? I know you're already working at UMMC. Shaneka, Kevin.
I'm at the VA as an inpatient nurse practitioner there, so I'll stay put for now. We'll enjoy the new title for a little while, and then we'll go to the drawing board and see what avenues we can take.
For what?
Well, teaching is a passion of mine. I've actually been an instructor before at Tulane, so I would actually.
Do you have to get another degree for that?
No.
Oh.
Like I said, my degree days are done. being on this side of the classroom, those days are pretty much over for me.
But you know what? If that's what you feel led to do or whatnot, again, you've definitely followed your passion. And for those listening, it does sound like a lot, but not everybody going back would both go back and have children. That's what makes your story unique. Yeah. But for someone listening that's like, man, I want that master's, or I want to go back, or whatever it may be, but it feels like it's too late. What do y'all say to that?
You can do it. And this is for everybody, not just, kid. It's for every person. If there is something that you want to do, just start. Put one foot in front of the other. You don't have to have it all figured out. Things will fall into place if you just begin. So that's what I would say. Just start.
I would have them Google the definition of motivation and discipline and understand the difference between the two. Motivation is when, okay, I'm motivated. I want to do something, right? I want to become a nurse. I get motivated to apply for nursing school. I get motivated to get that acceptance letter. Mm-hmm. But once classes start is when you have to turn your discipline knob way up, because that motivation is going to go down, right?
But the time's going to pass anyway.
Look, it's going to be, and I told her in 2023, I said 2025 is coming. So whether or not we're going to be a doctor
and it's
or not,
here.
And here we
y'all
are.
are going to be Dr.
Right.
Patterson's coming up Friday. Again, congratulations. Thank you for sharing your story with us.
No, thank you.
So much.
All right, you guys stick with us. We got